Hey guys, Anthony with the Rag Company, and in today's video we are making a follow-up to our unboxing and first impression video of the new Rupes HLR15. This is the machine that has the whole town talking, and today we're gonna be putting it to the test. We have a 2022 Mazda Miata that needs some light polishing, and I thought, what better time than to break this thing out? So we're gonna be using this along with some of the pads that it came with in the kit, as well as the compounds and polishes. We're gonna be talking about whether or not it's worth the price, talking about the pros and cons, and a little bit of everything in between. But ultimately, I just wanna play with this thing and use it and find out whether or not I want one for myself. So hopefully my findings will help you with your buying decision, and we have some paint to polish. Let's do this. All right, so before we get started, I just realized that I am wearing a Milwaukee hat. So we're gonna find out if this is truly the better cordless polisher. So with the HLR15 in hand, we have the new DA intermediate foam pad. This is the pad that launched with this machine back at SEMA 2023, and I'm going to pair it with some DA fine polish. This is gonna be perfect for this hood, as this is still a relatively new car, and it just has some light micro marring. But the roof, on the other hand, needs some serious work. So we're probably gonna be breaking out one of the yellow wools or something along those lines, and then really working that in and then cutting that. So we have our machine here, we have our polish. Give this a quick shake, and we are going to just go ahead and put a couple little beads on our pad. That is perfect. Come over to here, prime this area, spread this in. Now the big difference here on this machine is that we are going to have a trigger kind of lockout feature. So this is gonna be more of a safety feature. So previously you could just come up and grab the trigger on, let's just say, the corded machines, but now you have to just slightly press in this button here, just about that first halfway mark, to unlock the trigger, and then you can jump right in, and then you can actually lock it once the trigger is all the way up. So it's a safety feature. I have to get used to that. You'll have to get used to it. So let's just see what I think. All right, right off the bat, I can tell you it's pretty surreal because I feel like I'm using like a Mark II or a Mark III, but I'm just not having to worry about the cord trailing over the fender. So it's kind of a muscle memory thing that I'm having to get used to there, but it's really nice, right? The one thing I kind of noticed is that when I was coming back over here, that this battery, be really cognizant on how level your machine is, because if you have a hood with some dimension like this, then this battery could potentially touch the top of that hood. Now this is rubberized, so it's not gonna cause any damage, but it's something to think about. I started at a speed setting at 2.5, I worked it up to about a 3, almost a 4 here, and this thing was whipping. I was looking for pad stall, I was looking for anything like that. There was a slight bit of pad stall when I got to this top of this edge here on this bulge, but I was able to find my angle and easily correct that. So, so far so good. I'm gonna polish this half of the hood and then give you some more thoughts as I continue on. All right. So half of the hood is done, and another big thing I noticed was the sound. I prefer the sound of the HLR over the LHR. So the previous Mark II and Mark III of the LHR, if you know that sound, you know that Rupes sound. It's an iconic sound, but it kind of gets to you after a little while, right? You kind of have to drown it out with headphones or earmuffs. But this is just way more manageable to listen to. Crazy. But you know what's even crazier than this machine? The fact that 80% of you are not subscribed to the Rag Company YouTube channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Now let's get back to this. Now, I was coming over these edges. I had a little bit more pad stall, so I had to kind of maneuver the machine a little bit. And again, being cognizant of this battery. It's kind of weird because on the previous versions that had a cord, I could be at an angle like this, have that cord up and over my shoulder and not be worried about that handle at all whatsoever making contact with the paint. But this, because it is so easy to move around and it is so maneuverable, that you kind of get comfortable with it and you notice that that battery starts drooping down just a little bit. So that's why in a couple of those shots there, you probably saw me holding the battery like this, just my hand pressure here and working it. And that actually was still pretty comfortable in comparison to having the cord and me straining my back, trying to keep everything up. So I get used to it and I keep going. So I'm going to work on the other side of the hood here, wipe everything off, and then we're going to work our way over to the roof, change up our pad, and then see how it works at actually correcting. All right, so I just finished up with the hood over there and everything turned out pretty dang good. Now I want to quickly note my thoughts on this pad. So this pad's decent. I still prefer the yellow foam, probably just because that's what I'm used to. I've been using it for so many years. But with that said, this is a pretty good compromise for something that should be right in the middle between this and that of the blue foam, hence why it's called the intermediate pad. This works really well. I found that around certain edges, it really wasn't able to contour as well as something like the softer yellow foam. But I think on flat surfaces, this thing is going to be a beast, and the more you use it, the more that you work it in, it's gonna get better. Especially if you can introduce a little bit of moisture to the pad. Let's just say if you're using a pad washer, I think it is going to make this pad just that much better. So taking this thing off here of our backing plate, this backing plate is a new backing plate for this machine. I noted this in the unboxing video. It's very, very thin. Now the downside of this is that the previous backing plates had white around that outside edge, and that white was very easy to kind of notice on a pad for the rotation, but with this blue, it just kind of gets lost. So what I'd probably recommend doing is taking a Sharpie, marking a couple lines here on the backing plate so you can still see that the machine is rotating. If you don't want to mark up your fancy new machine, I suppose you could also make a little Sharpie mark there on the back of the pad. But that's really the only thing, is that I couldn't really tell when I was spinning or not spinning. I've used machines for so long that I kind of have a feel for it. But anyways, backing plate's really nice though. I feel like it's spinning freely. So over here, we are going to unbag in our new eco packaging our yellow wool. This is hands down one of my, what the heck? This is new. This is not like the other wool pads. This is literally my genuine reaction here. I have not seen this pad before. I've not used this pad before. All the previous yellow wools I've used have not had this high of a ledge here on that side profile, if you can see that. So I've used the yellow wool on the previous version, maybe previous style, and this is one of my favorites, but this is something I've not used, DA medium wool polishing pad. Let's go ahead and stick this on here. I will say though, that this backing plate is easier to remove pads from, 100%. Those Mark II and Mark III backing plates, you're literally like you're wedging something in there to remove it. This is really easy to remove. So, all right, we have our yellow wool on here. Get a little bit of those fibers out of there. We're gonna take our towel off of our hood. I'm actually gonna use DA coarse for this. I think it's a great compound when paired with this pad, and we are going to go through and remove some of these deeper scratches from the roof. All right, so jumping into the roof here, we're gonna take our DA coarse compound, put this onto my pad, and I am a big fan of kind of priming these yellow wools. So setting that down, I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of rub it into the fibers here. And I feel like this does a good job at removing any dry spots from this style of pad. Go through, knock this out. Now there are some deeper scratches here. So here, 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 and right up here. And so I'm probably gonna be able to work those out with just a few passes with this machine. Let's see what kind of cutting ability it has and how much pressure I can apply. All right, so about 3.5 here. I'm gonna use the just trigger and lightly press it so I can spread in my compound. It does a good job. It just kind of vibrates a little bit. I used to do this with like the Mark III and I felt like it did a little bit of a better job, but it could be just because of the pad. Sure. All right, let's just start this thing. All right, I'm gonna apply a little bit of pressure here. Harder than I probably wanna press. And this thing is still spinning. All right, this pad's great. Same pad, just different design, different style, but I've always loved this pad. It's amazing. I was able to compound this panel at an angle without having to worry about a cord. However, I'm still being very cognizant of this battery. I am worried about this battery. So I'm constantly making sure my hand's either underneath it or I am making sure that my angle is proper, because you know what? If this battery were like this pad is not spinning, right? So you want to keep that battery up at the proper angle. I was applying hand pressure, maybe a little bit more than that for the most part. It kept spinning and it's been a good experience so far. So let's wipe off this compound and let's check out our result. All right, so wiping off the compound here using a Rip and Rag Ultra XL. I would say the result of this, for how easy that was to use, pretty awesome. I was able to improve those scratches by quite a bit. So now we're gonna top it off with a little bit of Uno Advanced. So I have the yellow DA pad that comes in the kit here, but Uno Advanced does not. But I highly recommend buying this product a la carte because it's absolutely incredible, offers a lot of good protection, but really brings out a lot of gloss as well. It's a perfect all-in-one, one-step polish. So shaking this up here, so just a couple pea-sized drops. Okay, those are kind of some runny looking peas, but that's okay. We're gonna spread this in, and I have a feeling that this machine felt really smooth with the other pads and compound. Really had no complaints with it. It felt just as smooth as a Mark II or Mark III, but I think that this is where it's really going to shine, with a nice soft pad and something that has a lot of lubrication in there, such as Uno Advanced. And so we're gonna go ahead and put this to about a 3.5, start this thing up. Butter, that is absolute buttery smooth. Freaking smooth. It's freakishly smooth. Sorry, this is freakishly smooth. This is like a hot knife cutting through a stick of butter. It's just so satisfying, so smooth. We need to do some more. Incredible. That right there probably just sold me on the machine itself, just that experience. So smooth with Uno Advanced and a foam pad. All right, so we just finished up with the top of the roof, so we've knocked out a couple horizontal surfaces, but now we need to focus on something vertical and something with a little bit of curvature to it, because when using a DA, pad stall is a real thing, especially when you start getting off to the sides here and you start working around body lines. So we want to test out how well it is with pad stall and how well we can keep this thing spinning. So product on there, we're gonna go ahead, get it right here. You can kind of see what I mean about the curvature of this panel. This panel is kind of funky because we have this body line here, body line up top here, and typically when I'm gonna experience pad stall is right about here and right about here. And it's usually not ideal, so I have to crank up the speed, try to keep it spinning as much as possible. So what I'm gonna do is just start working this area in and see what happens. So right now I'm at a speed about 4.5, and this thing is spinning beautifully. A little bit of stall right here. A little bit of stall. Okay, see if we can get out of the stall, crank it up. This one spot right here. It's kind of hard to tell, but basically I have a flat panel here, I have angle, and then I have a little bit of a dip, and then I have it kind of bulging here. So this is kind of the recessed spot right here. I was getting stall here at about a 2.5 up to about 4.5. And then I kind of worked it to a 5 and kind of maneuvered it a little bit, shifted the machine back and forth, and I was able to get it to spin. But I would say probably it's a better experience than that of the Mark II or Mark III LHR, because I would know that that would just straight up stop spinning at all. It would just sit there at a speed of 6 and probably just vibrate. No pad stall. This was a good little test. Like, this is the perfect curvature to test a pad stall situation. And I would say I'm giving it the pass. It's not perfect. I don't think any DA is perfect in a situation like this. I think maybe the 21 would have a better chance of not stalling due to the larger throw, but the 15 definitely impressed me. So let's move on to the store here and see if that'll continue. Super smooth. Super smooth. Look up the mirror just for fun. Okay, so notice right there, knocking out the mirror. Got a little too confident, right? I forgot that I have a battery attached. Trust me, this feels very freeing without the cord, right? Keep in mind, you have to watch that battery. I was coming down here off the back of this mirror, came down and made contact, right, with the paint here. Again, rubberized, it's not gonna damage anything, but you could potentially ding something, you potentially dent something, so you wanna be careful. This is nice. No cord. Walking the machine down on a Viper chair. Very nice. I would say that this machine is very balanced, especially if you are kind of doing the battery grip and front grip here when working a side panel. Overall, I'm loving this thing. I want to give you guys my actual pros and cons here in front of the car. So I'm going to finish this side out and I will meet you there. Well, and if you're curious about weight, we did weigh the Rupes Polisher and the Milwaukee Polisher back to back, and here are the results. What are my final thoughts? Well, the pros. I think that this machine, not having a cord, is game changing. Seriously. The ergonomics of a Rupes machine, just that familiarity with using something like this for so many years, but now not having a cord, it took a little bit of getting used to, but it's like it's spoiling us. It really is such a nice machine, and it has plenty and plenty of power. Now, the other big thing is going to be the weight of it. So people want to know what the exact poundage is on it. It's 5.6 pounds. So overall, it's still an extremely lightweight machine. The batteries are really easy to change out. I love the charging system there with being able to swap out batteries, use one, deplete it, throw it on the charger, pull the other one off, and by the time you're done with the next one, that one's ready to go, so you can cycle back and forth between batteries and basically polish endlessly, which is really cool. I think that these new pads are fantastic. I think the backing plate is awesome, and the more that this machine gets worked in and that shroud kind of continues to wear away, I think the more free spinning that it's going to be as well. A lot of pros here with this machine. Obviously, I want more time. I want like another year with this thing to really give you my full thoughts, but as far as first impressions, there's a lot of pros that this machine has. Now, as far as negatives go, the battery, as nice as it is, cutting the cord, I still feel like the battery got in the way a little bit. When I was working around certain areas of the car, I felt like the battery was kind of hanging down lower than it needed to be. I was clipping parts of the bulge of the hood there, so I had to be really cognizant of that. And that you also feel like you have so much mobility that you forget it's there, and I feel like you probably will ding something, nick something, whatever it may be, so you really have to be cognizant of that. Now the other, I don't know, maybe semi-negative is I did feel like the machine get pretty warm. I know that the old machines like the LHR series got pretty warm as well, but I have a feeling that this machine probably will get a little warmer due to it's completely battery powered. But that's pretty much it. I don't have a whole lot of negatives to it to say just yet. I want more time with it, but I think this is gonna be great for people that are just getting into polishing, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a mobile detailer, hell, whether you're a pro and you're just wanting to swap to all cordless machines. I get that too. I want this thing, many of you want it. It's just whether or not is it worth the price. And I think it is. I think for the right people, this is absolutely worth the price. You're getting a lot of bang for the buck in the kit with the extra pads and the compounds and polishes. Really, all you need are some killer towels from us at the Rag Company, and you are ready to rock and roll. But I will say, pick up Rupes Uno Advanced, because that paired with a foam pad is gonna be completely game changing. This thing is so balanced, it spins so deliciously good that you'll just want to keep polishing forever and ever. So hopefully this video helps. Hopefully this gives you a good look into my first impressions, the pros and cons and everything in between. And as always, if you guys love this content and want to see more of it, please make sure to give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at the Rag Company.